Yeah, good evening. A happy Dominican Independence Day. You know, I'm just here to try to educate the pop. So I'm just gonna be waiting for a few guests. Please stay tuned. I hope it gets interesting. Well, it's raining where I'm at, but you know, stay tuned. Can do this. Somebody wants to come up in the past. Okay, testing 1 2 1 2. Testing. All right. Yep. So the purpose of this stream is to clear up any misconceptions that other people on TikTok and other social media websites have about the Cocolos, because I happen to be of that ethnic group. I am proud to be one. That's how my mother raised me. And I'm also proud to be a Dominican also. But you have certain people who I guess they do not read history or whatever the case may be. They think that Cocolos are, are bad or anything like that. Okay, and that or a Caribbean or Afro Caribbean that had settled in the Dominican Republic during the early 1900s to American, most people English speaking islands came to Dominican Republic. They were working on American owned sugar factories. The descendants of those people are called Cocolos. We they actually set up their own church, their own stores, their own crap. They actually set up their own stores, their own churches, and everything like that within the Dominican Republic. But it seems now that other generations they do not want to give certain people their respect or their due respect, and and the reason of this is because you have some people in the Dominican collective that are trying to push the pro Spain agenda towards the Dominican public. And most of these guys, they're mostly racist.
Yes. So here, pass me this. Oh, I'm
How
live.
you? Yeah,
Oh shit. What's up, man? Yeah, that one,
I'm sure
Poppy.
you.
Good, good. You already started?
Yeah,
Oh, cool, cool.
I was just waiting for you to come up.
But you didn't know I would come up, right? You probably thought I wouldn't, right?
I'm not gonna go around and say it probably would, probably wouldn't, but
Close
I
the
was
door.
like, thank God that you actually came through, and happy
Thank you,
Independence
thank
Day
you.
to you too, bro.
Thank you, thank you. Happy Independence Day. It's a Dominicans love this day, man. It's been slow though. It's been slow. What do you think?
I mean, I guess it's low for us since we're actually here in the coast. I know
Yeah,
parties and such happened Saturday and Sunday, so
true,
that's
true.
where.
It caught us on a Monday word.
And we got Johnny. How you doing, Johnny?
So what's up?
What's up? What's up?
I didn't really mean to like interrupt or anything. I was just
What's
wondering
up? How
like
you doing?
Now you're good.
not too
Okay,
bad, not too bad, getting my study on
you
and
good?
gotta work tomorrow. Really don't want to, but you gotta get that money.
Yep, yep. That's what's up, man. So I'm
Yep.
should I introduce myself and uh you as well? All right,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
sure.
start. I'm gonna start. So I'm
Well,
Lumore.
as you know, I'm the presenter, DonArmando, and
Yeah,
this,
you are. And this is
yeah,
Lumore. I'm a friend of Don Armando's. I'm from San Pedro Macorís, Dominican Republic. I reside in Boston right now.
yeah. I'm DonArmando. I reside in Philadelphia, and I'm actually the presenter of this topic tonight.
Cool, cool.
Johnny Appleseed. This is not my real name. It's just my stage persona.
All
You
right,
know, I'm pretty much trying to build my base up. I'm actually gonna start
it's all
another channel.
good.
So Johnny Appleseed, because you plant them seeds. Is that the reason?
No, I actually live in Indiana.
Yeah.
So Johnny Appleseed. Where I live right now, we have Johnny Appleseed Park. He planted all the trees out here.
Oh, what? So there's like those are the trees that he planted? I thought it was
Yeah,
a fictional character.
no,
It was
this
a
is this is a real person.
All
it
Why
right.
was
does
a real
everybody say
person.
that?
Right.
I
Everybody
don't know,
says that.
because in elementary school, they tell us in the storybooks and stuff. I thought it was a fictional character. Then I
Yeah,
It was,
because it was like I actually the way I actually thought I was growing up.
yeah, he's a real dude.
all right, cool, cool.
He's definitely a real dude.
He's a real dude. All right. I think Don Armando's stuck.
Oh yeah, the connection.
Connection, I
Yeah.
guess. We got him back.
And like the John Henry and like that. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. I know what you mean.
All right, let's
yeah.
begin, I guess. So you have a topic for today, right?
So right now the reason why I actually posed this. So yeah, yeah. This is the article because there's a
Hey, it's
lot
not.
of people who are actually being mislabeled or TikTok racist when it concerned when they're actually concerns about. So I said it on this day, which is the Dominican Independence Day. So therefore, we could actually talk about it and educate.
Is it me or is you? It's kind of breaking up. Or are you getting that too, bro?
I'm getting it
All
too.
right.
It's
Yeah, Don
going in
Armando,
and out.
your connection. Yeah, your connection's going in and out. How about me? Am I fine?
You're good. I think
You
mine's
you're
bad
good
too,
too.
because of
Yeah.
where I
No,
live.
no. I see you. I see you perfectly fine. I think Don Armando's connection is a little messed up. I
Yeah.
think.
Oh,
But let's continue.
Yeah. Well,
All
let me
right,
see if I go
yeah,
you
through
this
my
have
is
the
phone. Then.
stage.
this
Oh,
is
okay.
interesting because so in the course of my studies,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I ended up learning another language, right? I ended up learning Spanish,
yeah.
and I'm one of those people. I had no idea that there was black people outside of America. you know, I had no idea.
Mm,
So like when I found out all of this existed, I just pretty much like dove into it.
Yeah.
so, Cocolos are
Yeah.
for cause I'm not really sure uh about what the terminology
Mhm.
refers to.
It I have no idea either, honestly. I've heard it used before in like I think I saw you on
Yeah.
Radical Latinos show one time,
Yeah.
and like the term came up,
Uh-huh.
and it was a surprise for me. So like that's the term they use to describe darker skinned Dominicans.
No, they actually used that to describe Dominicans who actually came, well, actually people who came from the West Indies
Hmm.
to the Dominican Republic. The
Okay.
the etymology of well, I'm not even saying it right. The word cocolo,
Yeah.
as legend has it, is that a Dominican went up and asked a guy from Tortola, like,
Hmm.
"Oh, where you from?" So the guy said Tortola. Now, in Spanish language, they didn't know what Tortola was or anything like that.
Hmm.
So what the man thought they heard was Kokomo. So
Hmm.
therefore, that's how anybody who spoke English like around San Pedro de Macorís was called.
So Tortola is an island.
Yes,
Okay, it's close to the Dominican Republic, though, right?
I think it is, but it's like
Yeah,
maybe north to like
yeah.
maybe miles north to the Dominican Republic.
And so those people that they're referring to as Corcolos, they came from that island, but they originally came from Europe or West Indies. Is that's what you're
They
saying?
came from West Indies
Hmm.
Okay.
because the West Indies that you know at the time were actually owned by the British. And then you have certain people who were actually living, who were actually were from the American, Virgin Islands that actually came through too. So anybody who came to the Dominican Republic for work to cut the sugar cane actually settled in what is now called San Pedro de Macorís.
Why
And
San
So
Pedro, do you think?
so
Go
these are
ahead,
the
go ahead.
people that were traded between the British and the Spanish.
well, it was not even. This was like no, it was not even a trade. It was just Americans.
Workers?
They went up and they set up shop in the Dominican Republic. They could not understand the local population, so therefore they just looked for workers who could speak English.
Hmm.
And what is now considered the Leeward and Windward Islands, most of the people from those nations
Yeah.
actually came to those islands to the Dominican Republic to work the sugar canes for the American sugar factories at that time.
So Cocolos were actually considered higher uh in the economic, not economic, well,
In
probably
the caste
economic,
system.
but yeah,
I mean,
than the Dominicans.
it depends because when you actually look at it, right? The certain certain Dominicans, and they might have had like a nice house or something like that, like within the Genios. But then
Yeah,
when Trujillo went up and took the Genios back,
yeah,
most of the people who are Cocolos, and they started having their families and everything like that. You
yeah.
had like the first generation Cocolos that didn't really speak Spanish, so therefore their children had to help them out.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Not
So
not it that's not all the case always, but then
yeah,
you had certain people that could not speak English, or like within my own community they call can't see Jumbi.
can't
Can't
see you.
can't
They
see
didn't
through
speak
me.
English.
It's not that they couldn't speak English, they just can't they couldn't speak Spanish well nor read English. So therefore their children
Mhm.
Yeah, would have to help them.
that knew how to read English and Spanish had to
Yeah.
help them with a whole bunch of documents and etc. That had to be the case sometimes.
So
And
you
what
go
time
ahead. Go
period
ahead.
did this happen in?
What time period it happened? It was like the early, I'll say, the early 1900s.
Okay.
And then when Trujillo, before he got assassinated, he went up and took all ownership
Of
of
the
those
Indians.
sugar factories from the
Yeah.
Americans.
Right. And then we came Dominicans got control of it. And but what happened to the Cocolos then?
The
They
Coco,
they
this,
were stationed there. They I mean like they were living in that area. They just like stayed there and lived there.
they stayed there, lived there, product of intermarriages and everything like that. That's
Mm-hmm.
why
Yeah.
you see some Dominicans with English names because
Right.
of
Right. Yeah.
the
The
mixture and
mixture.
stuff.
Yeah. So
And then you have certain people who are like maybe third or fourth generation or fifth or sixth generation Kokomo.
yeah.
They don't even know how to speak English.
Yeah. Yeah. They pretty much Dominicans
Right.
at that point. They're Cocolos though, because
Yes.
they're their blood.
Hmm.
So okay. And where does our independence fall into the timeline as Dominicans? That was and Cocolos come into play.
All right. Well, as you know, they said uh, that one of the fighters, Muperon, might have been what we might call today a Kokomo.
But was he dark skin? I don't think so.
Yes.
He was. Uperon was
Yes.
dark skin.
Not in the independence. I'm saying
Yeah,
like
yeah,
as far as 1865 is concerned,
yeah,
when we fought against Spain.
yeah.
So what I was talking to a friend, they were saying that certain people who are from the West Indies actually helped. I'm
The
not
Indian.
saying if this is true or not,
Yeah,
but they said they might that certain English people out in those islands at that time might have helped with the independence. I am not sure if that's true or not,
yeah,
but I'm just putting it on this day, which is I'm just put this topic on this day
yeah,
since it's Dominican independence
yeah.
and certain people, they want to come with the ignorance and try to bunch people all together, which without actually knowing the history.
So they were probably most likely part of the fight that we.
There might have been, but then I can't really say that unless I have to do more research on that
Yeah,
because there was a
yeah.
lot of people who are actually down for the independence. So
Do you think the racism and like stereotyping comes from the Cocolo race being dark skinned and working on sugarcane ingenios, uh, and the fact that Haitians were also kind of like in the mix with that too, like doing the same thing, and they kind of look alike. Do you think that's why they stereotype?
yes, and then on top of it, most of the people who are actually trying to bunch
Mm-hmm.
the two cultures together in their minds are not actually from the Macoris region. Most of
Mm-hmm.
them, from my research
Out of
and from
town?
my interaction with people, they're either from the Cibao area
Yeah.
and they have like a all generalization of people, which is not really
Right, because they're light
historically
skinned.
unfounded. Maybe so, but I'm just saying, light skin or not, it's just certain
Right.
people that they think that
Yeah.
that they know a person when they really don't.
Hey, so uh,
Yeah.
it's safe to assume that you've done a lot of research on the history of the Dominican Republic.
I could actually say I did, but I'm not gonna go. But I'm still like in the process of researching
Yeah,
because we still have a little story to tell. So
Mhm.
yeah.
hopefully, when I do go to the Dominican Republic in March, I'll try to talk to certain individuals
Yeah.
who are the descendants of the
Yeah.
Cocolos, including myself.
Yeah. So do you think it's safe to
You know
say,
the. Oh, go
because
ahead.
I've done a little bit of research myself, not as extensive as others may have, but
Right.
what I see when the Haitians took over the island, like just what they did in their own revolution in their own country, they didn't exactly treat light skinned or white people very well. They didn't enslave them, but they didn't treat them very well. Do you think that has something to do with the hatred?
Well, this is what happened. It's not really so much of the hatred. What happened is this: when you actually talk about when Haiti went up and had occupation over the what is now the Dominican Republic for 22 years, right?
Yeah.
What happened was is that certain now this is from from people that I've gathered and stuff. It was like, okay, we're gonna let you do whatever.
Yeah.
But during those 22 years, the Haitian government was telling all the descendants who were Spaniard or whatsoever of Spaniard descent
Yeah.
or whatever, they were telling them like, oh, you can't have your religion or you can't have anything. And then the government was mismanaged and everything to the
Oh,
point
so they
that,
were like Cuba.
huh?
So pretty much they were like Cuba, taking away everything else from their original culture.
Right.
Okay, that's some Fidel Castro type stuff. That makes sense.
Yeah. So when people who were of Spaniard descent and people who were, I guess, intermixed with Spaniard and people who are dark skinned, they was like, we're not gonna have it no more. And they fought the Haitians for the independence. And on this date, which is February 27th, we
Don
started the
Armando. Excuse
Trabucazo.
me. Sorry. I gotta go downstairs real quick. I gotta move my car. I'll
All
be
right, so
right back.
yeah, we'll hold it down.
Yeah.
Cool.
So basically, they were fighting for the freedom of religion.
Ah.
Of religion and just of their way of living.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people could say that it was different rumors because the same guy, as you know, Toussaint Louverture in Haiti, he died before Haiti got its independence.
Yeah.
So who actually went up and took up the independence was Dessalines.
Yeah.
Now Dessalines, he was a tyrant, and
I believe it.
when he
Okay.
went up and he had his when he had his rule and everything, certain people, mulattoes, because mulattoes in Haiti, they never considered themselves as black anyway because they had the education of some sort.
Yeah.
They actually went and they plotted against Dessalines
Mm.
and they assassinated Dessalines brutally.
Yeah.
Now prior to Dessalines being murdered by his political rivals,
Hmm.
Dessalines in 1805 went in the which is called the Massacre de Moca,
Hmm.
went and killed 100 women, children, slaves, or whatever, under the guise of he saying that he was freeing them. When the fact is, he actually killed children, men, slaves, etc. And he took I guess the lighter skinned residents of Mocha
Hmm.
to be enslaved. So therefore, certain people they just loved having slaves. And then after that, Dessalines was brutally murdered. From accounts, they said that they hit him with a sword that split his head,
Mhm.
and the public actually teared him to pieces, literally.
Wait, so Dessalines came into power at afterwards or beforehand?
No, Dessalines came be, came to power beforehand. After he
Oh,
died, it
okay.
was um it was a ruler, I guess, mulatto. I guess certain people could consider him mulatto by the name of Boyer.
Mhm.
So it was. So I'm not really historically accurate on this, but
Yeah.
it was under Boyer when Dominicans actually fought the independence war against Haiti, just
Mm.
to just so Dominicans could have their freedom.
This seems like this is a very similar story to what happened in the United States. Very similar.
Hmm.
Like if you ever noticed like the Black Panther Party, did anybody ever notice that they were all light skinned? I don't think anybody noticed that.
Right,
Like they're the mulatto kids, the sons and daughters of the slave owners that had the educations. That's why they
right,
had the civil rights movement. They weren't fighting for black people's freedom. They were fighting for their right to sit in the same coffee shop as their mothers and fathers.
right. But then the Black Panthers, as you know, got destroyed by the government.
The government,
Sadly,
um, I don't know if the government had that much. The government had something to do, of course,
yeah.
but
I mean, it's to the point that
yeah,
they went up like you went up and you killed the man, Fred Hampton, right?
yeah. I'm from Chicago, Fred
And then
Hampton. Yeah,
and then I was just watching something that these police officers or whosoever, they were allowed to desecrate that man's grave. They giving his headstone um gunshots or whatnot.
yeah, yeah. That's yeah. Um, Fred Hampton. Out there, this is where they had the Rainbow Coalition uniting everybody, and that was probably the. I think it was one of the worst things to happen, to be honest. This
Right.
whole like, I don't, I don't condone segregation, but was it really that bad?
I mean, if you actually look at it, it might have it might be, and I'm going to tell you why. Let's just say for instance, I'm just talking in retrospect to African American history.
Yeah.
So, in retrospect to African American history, anytime you saw a black man or black people went and they try to make their own towns
Mhm.
or their own or have their own financial gain without trying to appease the upper echelons of the United States, what ended up happening? I'm
Black
saying you look at Black
America
Wall Street, right?
gone.
You had Rosewood,
They rebuilt it twice, and they destroyed it every single time.
exactly. And then if you really look at other towns or neighborhoods
Mhm.
that either got gentrified or by rumors or something like that. So every time that you seen a successful African American with the business or a thriving community, what happens? You just send a rumor, and then you have all these people who are entitled to destroy that community.
Yeah. Well,
So therefore, I don't think that segregation was a good thing when you actually look at it. Now,
yeah,
segregation would have been a good thing if everybody had thriving communities and we were just by our own.
yeah,
But if you see that you have certain prominent African Americans, and then on top of it, every time they try to make a business or they try to do something which is constructive, we're actually getting our communities burned and everything like that. I don't
yeah,
actually think that was right. That's my opinion, though.
yeah. No, 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 you're right. Like my counter argument would be every time we went into those coffee shops, you're begging for the right to go into the same stores where people want to kill you, move into the same neighborhoods where people want to kill you. That is absolutely crazy to me. I know for a fact I should not go to Butler, Indiana. I know I should not. I'm not welcome over there. So why would I fight for the right to live there? You know?
I mean, it's not really fighting for the right, but it was like at the end of the day, certain people. It was just about certain people. They wanted equal property,
You know?
and they just wanted to feel at a home, safe at home, without no discrimination or people banging down your door just because they think they can.
True. Well, yeah.
And
I don't mean to guide us off topic or anything. I apologize for that.
no, 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 no. We good. We told Memoria that that we're about to hold it down. So it's a good thing that we have in this chat. So it's not really on topic because a lot of things that happened during the diaspora,
Yeah.
it actually happened in similar fashions. Either it's the diaspora or it actually happened in South Africa or what
Yeah.
is now Namibia or someplace. So certain things when you actually call globalization by Europeans at that time,
Yeah.
stuff like that actually happened that was not really for a black person's benefit.
So, what do you think about this idea that I've been having? So, looking at the state of what's represented as Black American culture today, I've been having a theory say, hey, there are a lot of Afro Latinos that come over here with a much better culture that we could actually benefit from. I've been saying, hey, look, they called they called what did they call the the Vanguard. The Vanguard. They called Black Americans the Vanguard. I'm like, okay, I don't think we should be holding that mantle anymore. Looking at the state of things, you got hip hop artists, gangster rap. The representation is always some athlete, entertainer, or a criminal. I don't think that's a good thing.
All right, so therefore this is what I'm going to try to tell you. You see, this is where people messed up at, and you could agree with me with this.
Yeah.
Now I don't know how old you are, but I'll tell you I'm almost 40,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm I'm Afro Latino.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to tell you I was raised down south.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was raised down south, the beacon of African American was the BET channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now the BET channel from my days, from what it is now,
Mm-hmm.
the BET, yeah, it had its rap, it had everything. But guess what? It was no cursing. Maybe later down the line you had uncut videos.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was just black ownership. So when the owner of BET went up and sold the company of
Mm-hmm.
BET, I guess the network, that's when you start seeing not the pro black stuff anymore. That's when you start seeing the College Hill with everybody fighting. That's when you see all the reality shows that do not teach or uplift the African Americans. Then you have the prison complex,
Mm-hmm.
which actually benefits from gangster rap. So therefore, when a black American actually makes something of his own, but yet you have certain people that will try to infiltrate the culture. When you have certain people that will infiltrate the culture, then you cannot control the narrative. They're controlling the narratives on how your culture is supposed to be. When the fact is, it's supposed to be African Americans and people of the diaspora that's
Yeah.
supposed to control the content. And when BT first actually came, to fruition or whatever. It was about promoting black culture.
Yeah.
Now, now, not a young person know what roots is anymore.
Mm.
Nobody knows, you know, Maya Angelou still I rise,
Facts.
or for that aspect, they don't know who is Sidney Poitier and Harry Belafonte. They don't know what even Porgy and Bess is. You know why? Because it's not because of the that nobody knows. You have certain people that still know, but then when you actually have generation of people going to jail, and then
Yep.
all the hopelessness and everything like that. I'm not talking for every African American. I'm just talking for some.
Yeah.
And then you have children raising children. You will actually see that there's certain people that do not know or could stand up and say like, yeah, I'm a person, I'm an African American. They could stand up with pride because all they see is negativity.
Mm.
So therefore, what I guess is, and I know that there's a lot of programs, teach the youth about the history, so therefore they won't have to go and make the mistakes that their forefathers have.
Yeah.
And this is my thing: you still see certain people repeating because it's generational. You had a father who's a gangster. He goes to jail. He needs a son. His son's either go to jail or killed. Then after that, the next generation. So therefore, you see it in a lot of communities. You got like fourth, fifth generation of gangsters because that's all they know. Now,
Yeah.
if somebody's to break the cycle and become a doctor or anything like that, they could actually tell or reach down to be like, okay, you don't have to go and do all that.
Yeah. But in modern times right now, that person that breaks the cycle is considered an outcast.
Yeah, well, let them be the outcast because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people who are doing a lot of stuff that will be considered outcast. For
Yeah.
example, because you could be smoking weed or anything like that or not,
Yeah.
and then you'll be the one that does not smoke weed, and then you're talking about you want to be health conscious or something. People are going to look at you, they're like, oh yeah, you're the outcast. But what they don't know, but what that young man sees down the line is while y'all smoking weed and drinking, he's going to be in better health and better shape than you in 30 years. And people say, "Oh, why the heck happened?" Because you were drinking and everything.
Hmm.
Now, and not getting your body right. I'm guilty of this. Everybody is,
Mm.
but people have to wisen up.
Yeah.
Just you just got one life to live, and you have to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Facts. But yeah, so I'm looking at the picture, and now you said Cocolos are basically workers that came from another country that went to the Dominican Republic, right?
Yes, which were the Leeward and Windward Islands
Yeah.
that were English speaking and owned by the British and I guess Dutch in Dutch countries at that time.
Yeah. So is that American? Is that an American flag that she's wearing on her head?
I guess it is, but then certain people they just wear bandanas or whatever
Yeah.
because they don't know what they're actually wearing.
Yeah.
But and if you actually look at the man that's in the middle, he's
Yeah.
wearing the garb which is just that.
Yeah.
So it's just people that actually make their own costumes and everything.
Yeah.
So if they put that pattern on, there's that pattern.
Yeah. So let's see. I'm finna share this because we need some more people in here.
Yeah,
Put this here. And let's get some more viewers. Let's definitely get some more viewers in here.
of course.
There we go. So we should get some more people up in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. I like to study the history of places. I mostly like since I started studying languages. Um, I live in the U.S. Well, of course. So I started with Spanish, and I was gonna go to Portuguese, but I'm trying to think of my biggest audiences. So like Spanish,
Yeah.
Portuguese, the surrounding areas. So like Haitian Creole, Jamaican Patois. Um,
Right.
and I really been thinking about Chinese Mandarin since it's a huge population of people. Huge population.
Yes, I remember speaking to you about that. Yes.
Yeah, it is a huge population, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I see them. They Everybody in the world looks at the United States like we are a telenovela, like we are just the most interesting thing on the planet. So I'm like, let's take advantage of that. Let's speak in their language so they can get a better understanding of what we're trying to say.
I totally agree with that. But then what's wrong with this country is that you have English purists, right?
Yeah.
My thing, and I have an idea, and certain people may or may not um subscribe to it, but I don't care. My thing is that if um if you want if you want the United States to be number one in test scores and everything like that,
Yeah.
stop screwing over your own people. Go around and make everybody in the United States marketable. And what I mean marketable is that if you actually go to a job interview and everything like that, right?
Hmm.
I'm talking about for big companies. Now you can have a college education and everything, but then let's say if a person that look like us and say, "Oh yeah, we know how to speak Spanish," and the person, but then if a person was like, "Okay, I know how to speak Spanish, I know how to speak German, I know how to speak French," and then the person's like, "Yeah, you might be bull crapping or something like that," and then when you actually speak those languages, those like,
Yeah, I
"Where
get it.
the heck you came from?"
I get. So apparently, apparently, for the last couple of years, I'm not a Black American. I've been called. There's a place where I go right now. To the bottom of their hearts, they just call me Dominican. They just call. I'm like, bruh. I like. Thank you. I take it as a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah.
But then it feels like a backhanded compliment, like they're trying to say, "You're a Black American. You're not. You can't be smart enough to learn another language. Any language. It's impossible." Like, look, like all
I,
I did is pick up a book, man.
I mean, if you actually look at it, right? I have friends who are in the military, right? And then you know that you have certain people in the military that actually study a lot of languages and speak it fluent.
Yeah.
There was a guy that I actually had on my live stream one time. I think you might or might have not spoke to him. His name is Kevin C.
I think I have spoken to him.
Yes. So me and him, while we had our live stream about our Veterans Day live stream, we were actually talking about, okay, this is what we were doing, this is what was happening, and he was telling me about that most people in the military, they actually go to an institute on how to speak and how to generalize it with other populations, and then when they actually speak the language, they actually speak it fluently to the point that they think that they're native.
Yeah. That's so. I'm actually good friends with a dude. Well, online friends with a dude who's in the military right now. I think he's from South Carolina, North Carolina. Dude is like a super genius. He speaks 10 languages fluently, like he's from those countries. It's ridiculous when you hear him talk. I'm like, bro, like you really from South Carolina? So I kind of did it to him, like I'm like, bro, 10 languages. That's something people from Africa do. Some people like they speak 15 languages.
Like for example, right? I had a teacher that spoke 10 languages, right? When I was going to high school.
Hmm.
Now this guy was from Togo.
Hmm.
The guy was telling me like, man, He went up and he clowned on a Colombian dude. He's like, you see, I could speak 10 languages. I could speak Spanish better than him. I was like, wow.
It's
The way
crazy.
that the way that this African spoke Spanish, you would think that you couldn't detect where he was from until he actually said, "Yo, I'm from Togo, and I know how to speak French. I know how to speak this," and then he knew how to speak his, I guess, his tribal languages.
Yeah. Oh, so he had more. Okay, damn.
Yeah, I mean, he spoke English in an African accent, but then if you actually look at it, he was actually, I guess, what you would call a polyglot.
Yeah.
And I have a cousin who's like that too. I mean, he was born in how should I say in Saint Martin.
Hmm.
So basically, he actually knew English and Spanish due to his parents, my cousin, and her husband. And then on top of it, in Saint Martin, they teach French too. So therefore, my cousin will actually know how to speak three languages fluently, read, write, and everything like that.
That's crazy. And okay, this is probably going to be a big topic right here. So you've heard of Tariq Nasheed, right?
Yes.
So how he describes Black Americans doesn't actually make sense to me because, like, I'm in the community every day.
First of all, you have to admit, Tariq Nasheed is a cornball.
Yeah,
No,
and
for real though, he is.
he
Because if
don't.
you actually look at the terminology that he uses for people who come into the people of the diaspora or Africans that actually come into the United States and their children, he actually calls them feathers.
Yeah, Tethers. The way he trying to start this beef, this diaspora war.
It's like this. He's just a snake oil salesman,
I,
meaning that he'll say something that makes you soothe, that goes between an ignorant person's anger. And
yeah,
then you have a whole bunch of people who are listening to him, and then they go on multiple streams. They're like, yeah, well, that country has racism. I was like, so how you know that? Well, I
we got,
did my research. I'm like, okay, you did your research. So what book did you? Well, my research was Tariq Nasheed. I'm like,
bruh.
next.
I hate when people do your
Yes,
research
yeah,
can't be
yeah, yes,
another
yes,
person's
yes,
research.
because there was a guy that had to shut down on Radical Stream, right? And he's
Yeah,
like, well, um, the the Dominican Republic is racist and everything like that. I went up and I broke it down like this. So I asked him, "Have you been outside the country?" He's like, "Yeah, I've been to Mexico, but have you been to the Dominican Republic?" He was like, "No." I was like, "Don't talk about the Dominican Republic if you never stepped foot there."
exactly. That's the type of shit they do, man. That's like I'll admit I had a coworker at my last job.
Right.
He was actually Dominican, and
Uh huh.
we spoke more English than Spanish. He'd been out here for 10 years, but he mostly stayed with his family.
Right.
And I asked him about that. I'm like, bro, is it really like that? Like, do you really want to be white? He was
I
like,
mean, I
well,
mean, if you actually look at it, right, I'll go and I'll answer that. It's not all Dominicans that want to be white. You have certain people who they accept who they are.
yeah,
They accept both sides. They accept that they accept their skin color. They do this, that, and the third.
yeah,
But what I'm going to tell you is that the reason why I actually made this is because for a year there is a ignorant there are several ignorant um Hispanic YouTubers or TikTokers
yeah,
that actually want to that actually want to bring American style racism within Latin American countries because in their mind they actually think that American style racism will actually benefit Latin America or make Latin America better. When the fact is
We're a
that it
failing
wouldn't.
society. We're a failing society. That's not going to. You can't. What happens is if you bring American style racism, it makes it easier for you to reach higher status based on your skin color, but it doesn't fix the country as a whole. It actually makes things worse because everybody's consistently fighting each other.
Oh shit!
Like if everybody's
Oh,
fighting
his
each
mic
other,
was on this whole time.
I guess so.
Oh shit! Did you guys hear my kids yelling in the background?
I
Yeah.
mean, well, hey, kids are kids, so it's nothing. It was
Yeah.
nothing embarrassing.
yeah, it's
they
kids.
be blatantly cursing.
Well, I didn't hear, we didn't hear no cursing, so
Yeah. Kids will be kids.
Darn
yeah.
kids. Yeah. So you guys, what part are you up to now?
Oh yeah, we were just talking about that there was a guy by the name of Tariq Nasheed, and I
Yeah.
Hmm.
was actually going to try to bring up some of these so-called Hispanistas, the ones that are actually bring that the ones that are actually trying to bring American style racism to into Latin America.
Yeah. And I,
Oh
I'll
shit.
say, in particular, a lot of those dudes just have a. It feels like they just have a general hate compared to another guy I know. He's from Colombia. He's mixed,
All right,
and
so what his name? Because there's several of these people who are out here.
his name's Alejandro. And when he says he's pro, he's just Hispanic.
Right.
How he described it to me, I'm like, hey, I have no problem with that. Like, it's not. He's not promoting hating other people. He's just promoting loving himself.
All right.
You know,
But then but then it's like this. There's another YouTuber. Well, I'm not gonna mention his name because me and him we got into it and he was saying a lot of disparaging things towards my wife. So I went up and I cursed him out because of that. And if I do see him, it's on. That's all I gotta say.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, you got to, man.
Yeah. So with that said, this guy, the guy that I'm talking about, all he does is that he's actually emotionally immature.
Mhm.
You can't win a you can't win a battle or argument or debate or anything like that without dissing a man's
Yeah,
spouse or anything like that.
yeah.
And
Personal
the thing,
attack,
huh?
personal attacks.
Personal attacks.
Yeah,
And then when he actually makes streams and such, and he talks to African Americans, he be talking about, oh yeah, I'm a conqueror. And then he's trying to generalize that all African Americans came from African tribes that wore leaves around their privates or something like that. You could tell that this guy has a cartoonish nature about him. That he been watching too much 1940 cartoons to the point that he's trying to disparage Africans in general because
yeah,
of his general hate of African Americans or people who are Haitian, etc. He's just trying to lump everybody into one, so therefore he could be this oh so powerful conqueror. But this is my thing about it. If if this guy's so much a conqueror, why the heck you're in Spanish lands? It's not like you was noble. It's not like your family was nobility or anything like that.
mhm.
So why you call yourself a conqueror? Which to me is just retarded and backwards.
like,
That that's like for example, let's say in the American public, right?
yeah,
You have a guy that what, yeah, I'm a part of the royal family. When the fact is, America, we fought against being against the British crown or whatever, right?
Yep.
So why a person is gonna say, yeah, I'm a conqueror. I I love England. When the people will be looking at you like,
never,
yeah, you're an idiot.
bruh. Who is it? Who is that comedian who said, "You're not Spanish. You speak Spanish." I'm speaking English. Do I look like the Queen of England? So, like, I'm not English. I'm not British. Like, and they'll let you know. They have no problem letting you know that. Like, if
And
you
then
go,
when they trying to preach this pro Spain stuff to the populace, everybody knows they know everybody knows the truth. If you actually go to Spain, you got certain people that actually call Latin Americans dirty blood, and they actually disrespect in Spain. They actually some of the Spanish actually disrespect African immigrants
yeah.
and Latin American immigrants.
Um. So on that particular subject, I have a friend from the Canary Islands. Her name is Kati Carmen. Her name's
Right,
Carmen. She likes to be called Kati, and
right.
we only speak Spanish with each other. So I actually, since she's from Spain, I actually decided to ask her, "Hey, how is it like the relations out there, like race relations?" So, like, in particular, there's an area in Spain where it's like little Dominican Republic.
Right.
It caught my attention that there's an area called Little Dominican Republic. Why didn't they just integrate with the rest of society? Because the society didn't accept them. That's what happened. Like,
Yeah.
one of the things that's going on out there, they hate
Hold on.
immigrants. Um, the Africans that go out there are a lot of Somalians, and they bring a lot of the negative aspects of the culture because they're leaving a war torn country.
Right.
They're bringing a lot of the negative aspects with them, and the people aren't too happy about that. So they don't want any immigrants there.
Yeah. I've been hearing that aspect also.
Yeah. So it's pretty much going to be anybody black at that point. Now, if you're a black American, I don't know if I think everybody knows this at this point. If you're a black American and you travel outside of the country, you're getting some type of privilege, pretty much. You know,
I mean,
you go to
it
Europe.
depends. It depends because I
Yeah.
have a friend by the name of J Rod that he's actually a big YouTuber,
Hmm.
and he was talking about his experiences in Spain,
Yeah.
and he didn't really have a good experience. But then
Yeah.
he was actually talking about his experience while he was working as an au pair in Spain.
Yeah.
So while he was an au pair in Spain, he said that he hung out in the Dominican hood, and it was all love.
Yeah.
But then when he was working right there, I guess the woman that he was working for had a nervous breakdown or whatsoever the case may be. So he just got out of there,
Yeah.
of Spain. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. They have a. I don't know how this happens in every single country in Europe, but there's a Nazi issue in Spain. That's an
yeah.
actual thing.
I mean, if you actually look at it, there's there's several neo-Nazi issues in Spain, and not only Spain, you
Yeah.
have it in Germany, Austria, and all these other places because as you know, you have a lot of immigrants that come to this country who that come to the European countries. Either they'll be Arab,
Yeah.
African, or Asian, right? So therefore, you have certain people who they fed up with immigrants or whatever because
Yeah.
of whatever case may be, and then they just join these groups and they're like, oh yeah, Hitler was right or something like that. When the fact is that they're just disenfranchised and uneducated.
Yeah. Shoot. If you see what's going on now, the you have the you have the liberal white woke mob, and then you have the black woke mob, and like, you seen the Kanye West thing, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, in real life, at my last job,
Hmm.
you had black dudes talking, man, Kanye was right, man, and I'm not gonna get into that because I know they're gonna shut the stream down. I already know.
Yeah.
But, like, they people in real life, in real time, are actually believing this stuff. It's crazy.
I mean, yeah, because it's to the point that now woke. You have certain people say, "Yeah, I'm woke," but then they sound stupider than the bum in 125th Street.
Man, you got the Hebrew Israelites,
I mean,
you
like
got the
for
Muslims.
example, right?
Yeah.
I'm cool with Hebrew Israelites, but me personally, I'm not gonna go and try to act. And this is me, and I'm not saying this because I believe I'm a Christian, but there's certain stuff that I can't really go upon with just anything what
Yeah.
they'll have to say about certain stuff. You get what I'm trying to say when it comes to our relations, where we came from, etc. Because if you actually look at the Hebrew Israelites, the NOI, the what you call it, these guys, the Moors.
Yeah, man.
If you actually look at 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 all these organizations, right?
Yeah.
They all were just the bastard children, literally. I'm talking about as far as ideological views. They were
Yeah.
actually the bastard children of Marcus Garvey.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Because think about it.
yeah.
Before this is why another reason that there's a lot of ideological differences within the African American collective is because of what they did to Marcus Garvey.
Yeah.
Now, Marcus Garvey, his maybe I might be wrong, but his original plan was like, hey, let's go back to the homeland.
Yeah.
Now, the American government is like, nah, we ain't gonna have him get our free labor. So therefore, they deported him out of the country, and he had boats and everything like that ready for African Americans to go back to Africa.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, right,
Yeah.
you have you had certain people which was revealed that they actually liked his ideological and everything like that. But there
Yeah.
was one thing: Marcus Garvey said that he was a Christian. So therefore, most of the people that felt like they were lost or anything like that, they actually moved towards Islam or their own version of Islam. And then from the from the NOI splintered the Nation of Gods and Earths, which are now called the Five Percenters. And then from another branch, you called other people who are called the Nubians. Now that's the NOI. Now you had
I've
the
heard about
Hebrew
that.
Israelites, right?
Yeah.
Then they splintered into like five schools and everything. That's why if you see Hebrew Israelites, you will see them look different. You see the ones that don't speak Hebrew,
Yeah.
but then it's very unintelligible because if they're Hebrew, you cannot speak with the person who was from Israel
Yeah.
legibly. So with that said, it's just a lot of it's just a lot of miseducation going on in that part. So I
Yeah.
can't really say anything because they're like, oh, you're not learned. But yet,
I think those groups are extremely toxic, considering that like a lot of groups, a lot of it's bad that the Hebrew Israelites started in prison in Chicago. These guys, you're taking a guy, an ex gang member who decided to become religious, and he spread his ideology across the whole country. Now there are thousands, if not millions, of Hebrew Israelites now.
I mean, if you actually look at it, it's different schools.
Yeah.
So different schools, I guess, from that separation. That's why you see you have all these Hebrew Israelites. You see the ones that preach in the street. You see some of them that don't preach in the street.
Yeah, like my uncle.
Yeah, then on top of it, you see the one that boy, oh yeah, good brother. How you doing? I'm like, okay, I'm not your brother, but all right. And they're like, yeah, those Edomites and everything like that. I'm
Like,
like, okay, yeah, you're Edomite. So why the heck you married or something like that? And that's why I don't. There's sometimes I might talk to him, But there's other times I'm not gonna go and pay them any mind because A, I know who I am, and number two, you have certain people that they're just angry at whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
So
Around them.
so imagine if they see me and my wife.
Yeah.
Now, remind you, my wife is Dominican also, Dominican American, just like me.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, she looks more of a Dominican than I would.
Yeah.
So when people actually see us, they're like, "Oh yeah, why the heck you with each other? You're supposed to be with the Black Queen and all that." I'm like,
Boy,
please.
they're crazy.
I'm like, I am with who I want to be with, and we're the same race. You just don't. You're just too blind to see it.
Yeah, bro. Like this ideology that's going around, it's just getting. We complained about racism, and now we're becoming the racist. That's what's going on.
Yeah, it's like, for example, if you see that you see certain people who are just happy.
Yeah. Unhappy people.
If you see certain people who are just happy and everything like that,
Yeah.
they're just like, okay, they're like, oh yeah, you ain't with the Black Queen. I'm like, be quiet, you fake black nationalist.
Right.
And I'll call them a fake black nationalist to their face. They're like, you can't do that because you're Dominican. I'm like, well, guess what? I call it how I see it. Like I
Yeah.
went up and I was talking to my sister, and this is way before when BLM first started.
Mhm.
I told my sister, um, BLM is not for us. Well, don't go around and tell all these people that. I'm like, well, guess what?
It ain't even
Mm,
for black people.
thank you. So
It's
therefore, so so
it's
so
for
there,
gay people.
so therefore, fast forward.
Yeah.
All the money that they doing now, all the money that they made and everything like that, all for people suffering, right? And
Right.
now, and now,
90 million.
and now the IRS is trying to see how they got their money.
Yeah.
So my thing is that I believe that Black Lives Matter when when it's cops, discriminating against black and Hispanics.
Yeah.
But I don't. But I said I never believed in the organization.
Oh hell no. Hell to the no. I used to have a BLM hat, and originally I just wore it to antagonize people because I knew it's like, man, these racist people really hate just the term BLM. So I just would antagonize people. But when I started seeing what was going on, $90 million. Where did $90 million go? That's a lot of money. You could build schools, you could build hospitals with $90 million. Where did that money go? To some lady who just bought houses around the country and in the Caribbean and in Europe. This lady is just living big, but she hasn't done anything to actually benefit the same people that she claims she wants to help.
Exactly.
Like it's ridiculous. It's embarrassing to be honest. Cause now she got the world is watching all this stuff. Everything's on social media. The world is connected through the internet now. Everybody sees what's going on. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing, straight up.
You want to know what's more embarrassing?
What's
Is
up?
that when you actually see certain people that they're talking about, oh yeah, I'm an alpha male, but yet when you try to get into a healthy discussion with the woman, you tend to block them. I mean, me personally, that's not alpha male material
It's
at
not.
all.
It's not. It's really not like the men like the manosphere dudes. I think it needs to be talked about a little more often. It needs to be criticized more because these dudes are talking about yes, women act like this and women need to do this. I'm like, bro, you're talking about a specific subsection of women. Not every single woman is like that. They are generalizing an entire gender. It's ridiculous. Like there are plenty of good women. you can't say every single woman is an OnlyFans model or every single woman is a what else they want to say strippers. What's some other stuff they say?
I mean, if you actually look at it, let's be honest. I'm a married man,
Yeah,
and when we were single, we were trying to find the one. But then if there was females who weren't the one,
yeah,
and they went and you were just looking to have a good time. You were looking to have a good time. We
yeah,
wasn't complaining. Oh yeah, this female's right there, unless they stole our money
yeah,
or they lied to us. But other than that, we wasn't complaining. Oh yeah, right there. Because 9 times out of 10, when you date and you fuck up,
yeah,
you actually got a set of morals
yeah,
or what you want a woman to be instead of a bad experience, which you don't want to be.
yeah,
And I had to help a friend, which I'm not going to say his name or anything like that.
yeah.
He went up and he broke up with the chick, and that chick started stalking him over for 2 years, asking for money and everything like that. And the female had a child. So this is my thing. You had, a guy break up with a female, and then she thinks she's entitled to his money. I mean, and then you go, I need to help my child. First of all, I'm a
Yeah.
single man. I do not need that responsibility. Don't try to put that responsibility on me. Put it on the baby father. I ain't that. I ain't that fool. Second of all, don't stop calling me. I could be. I could be in. I could be in a fight right now with instead of dealing with your dingy behind. We have no child. We have no bank account together. So why the heck you bothering me?
That's facts. That's facts. The entitlement is a little crazy. I will admit that. The entitlement is crazy.
Nah, entitlement is crazy when a female plays you, right? And then
Yeah.
she wants to have the entitlement. Is like, oh, you got to respect me. No, I don't. Yeah,
It's crazy, man. A lot of what did I see the other day? So a lot of everybody got this. They have their kings and their gods of the manosphere. So Andrew Tate is one of them. Kevin Samuels is one of them. God rest his soul.
yeah,
And yeah, I agreed with certain aspects of what they say, but a lot of what they say is not really realistic. Number one, these guys were millionaires. I'm not a millionaire. The vast majority of the people that watch these shows are not millionaires. So
right.
when they're talking the things they're talking about, a man should do this, a man should do that. They're speaking from the perspective of extremely wealthy men. What he make Andrew Tate what makes 50 million a month? That's a lot of money.
But the thing is though with Andrew Tate, which I think is different from a lot of these guys, is that he's trying to make a lot of people wealthy. He's like, this is how I did it
Yeah.
before I went to jail, and 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 this is how I'm doing that. That's why I created Hustlers University.
Yeah.
But I saw one of the channels, and they was like, oh yeah, like in one of the channels, he was actually saying like, yo, we was about to make you have to pay like $5,000 a month or $5,000 just to go to Hustlers universities in Romania. So that means that yeah, because there was a Vice documentary that there was a Vice reporter that actually went to Andrew Tate's crib. This is like way before he got arrested, right?
Yeah.
So he went to the compound where Andrew Tate lived with his brother. You know, real. It was like almost real Batman-ish or something like that. He had everything that he had. You know, he had his own pool. He had
Yeah.
his own. He had his. He went to an area where he showed people where to fight and how to be a man and everything like that. So his whole aspect was actually trying to help men regain their manliness back or whatever. But then you have certain people who are pro feminist. They just want to see a man down or whatever. I'm not saying all, but I'm just saying some. So therefore, that's where the conflict arises. That I don't know, but maybe I haven't. There was like they were saying, oh yeah, Andrew said you should smack a woman, and then he's misogynistic. But from the clips that I've heard about this guy, he actually is breaking it down. Like, okay, you don't see a black billionaire and a white billionaire be racist at all. So why the heck should we?
True. That is very true.
Or they'll be like, or he broke down, which is actually respectful. He said this: the reason why you see all these school shooters and whatsoever is because of the disrespect. The more that you disrespect a person, the more they're not going to have respect for you, or the more they're not going to take it anymore. And
Yeah,
then when they not take it no more, you don't go and cry and say, "Oh, that person hurt me." When the fact is that you were disrespecting that person from the get go.
exactly. That's like out here. There was a big thing at was it Carroll High School? I can't remember what school it was. One dude actually ended up he ended up stabbing the guy, and it was a big thing. All it was like all over the media. People started. Parents were taking their kids out of the school, but nobody had context on the situation. When it came out that this kid this kid was getting bullied constantly by the same dude, and the dude that he had attacked,
Right.
that was the guy that was bullying him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so everybody knew this was going on and nobody did anything about it. So he took it into his own hands.
Yep.
So is he the bad guy?
No, but then by the court of law, you shouldn't have done better. And then they're gonna give him like 14 or 15 or 30 year sentence. Depending on
I,
how draconian the states are.
I was locked up with him, bro. He got he just got probation. He free right now.
Oh, wow,
Yeah, this was like 10 years ago, 10 years ago, I think.
damn.
Yeah, like he wasn't in. I'm not gonna say he's right for doing what he did, but I'm
Right.
not. But he has the right to defend himself. Now, reacting the way he did, he walked up to the guy. He left his table to go over to him and do that. Now that spoke a
Took
little.
that took courage.
Yeah, I'm like, man. But
Yeah,
he still got bullied in the jail though. I'll tell you that he still got bullied in the jail.
dag. So he got bullied in the jail. Like they just punched him, and then they just stole his lunch money, or it
Well,
went further than that.
it was just mixing words. Nobody really did anything to him like physically. Most of the street dudes kept it between each other.
Got you.
But yeah, matter of fact, I think I can pull this stuff up right now.
Yeah, pull it up, man. Mm. All right. So I guess he's ready to pull that up. So I'm just holding the fort till then. And for anybody, the link is in the description. And he's back.
I hit the wrong button.
All right. I mean, sure, that happens. Yeah. So in that retrospect, it's just it's funny that most of these school happenings, I guess, with incidents that involve schools, it never happens in the big city. I wonder why. It always happens in these small towns.
Yeah, yo, when I was in Chicago, that was like, it's not an occurrence. That's really not an occurrence. People getting stabbed in the schools is more so. More incidents happen outside of the school, and it's never really an innocent person. Like I know a lot of people like to protest for things, but in reality, when a lot of people get killed, people talk about, oh my God, children are getting murdered in Chicago. I don't think they take into consideration the fact that that child that got murdered was also a murderer. Like we got
Exactly.
like we got 9-year olds killing people, man.
I mean, that okay. Talking about a historical case, I guess that's what happened to a teenager by the name of Yummy. I guess that's what the story goes. He
Yep.
was a he was a he shot somebody and unalived them,
Yeah.
and then
Siobhan Dean.
and then after that, two boys unalived him.
Yep. That happened in my neighborhood. I have a right. He was actually from the gang in my neighborhood, but he lived a few blocks away. And
Wow,
it's still posters. It's still posters up on walls, flyers that are saying, "Have you seen this? Have you seen me?" Of Siobhan Dean. That's the person he killed.
wow,
It's crazy. She was, I believe, 13. Yummy was 11. His name was Robert Sandifer.
yeah, I read the story.
Yeah, dude he was a little menace. He caught more felonies at 9 years old than most adults.
Wow,
Like it's a crazy story, man.
yeah, I heard. And
And
the reason why they call him Yummy is because he liked I guess sweets.
yeah, he used to love to eat cookies.
Yep.
It's great. Like I think people don't understand that Chicago, we call them gangs, but in Chicago, these are actually mafias. These are mobs. Like
I'm glad that you're here. Raíces Caribeña. I'm glad that you're here. And this is the link in the description. You could come through. I don't know if the signal will be right, but I've been waiting for her. She
Los,
she is
los,
knowledgeable, bro. She's more knowledgeable than me, so therefore, she'll break it down to everything.
ooh, come on up.
Yeah.
Bueno,
Yeah.
she dressed like what's in Colombia, los palenqueros.
All right. Well, I don't know that much about Colombia, but I guess I'll actually read about it. But I do know that in certain regions in Colombia, that it it does have a high Afro Colombian population.
Yeah, I think they have the third largest population of black people outside of Africa.
I think that's Colombia, Ecuador, Brazil, if I'm not mistaken. Now, welcome to Open Topics, Elizabeth Cochran Pichardo.
Thank you.
Is there? Aquí estamos.
Yes, and happy Independence Day to you, Elizabeth.
Oh, so today is Dominican Independence Day.
Yes,
Oh, happy Independence Day.
yes. So, Elizabeth, the reason why I've actually made this is because here in America, you have certain Latino American racists and some Dominican American racists that are actually trying to bunch up our people, the ingleses, and they're trying to, and they have a genuine hate or a genuine prejudice with African Americans. So in their mind, they're just trying to bunch us up together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
before everybody wants to go and spread the misinformation, I'm like, you know what? Let's just educate the people, because with education or people who are actually of what we are, we could actually dispel the myths, rumors, and the ignorance that's being spread around on TikTok and on YouTube.
Facts.
Yeah. So how's everything in San Pedro, Elizabeth?
I think she got to get her mic set up.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Oh, it sounds like you out of space. I say we are not, it's not a matter of being racist, it's a matter of being ignorant of the facts and to the facts and
Exactly.
divide and conquer. The Dominican Republic was name was Quisqueya from the Indian. Then it was Santo Domingo. Then it was La Española, then the Spain.
Yep.
And it's not we not a race. We all a human race. We have different cultures when it comes down to like when it comes down to music or race or foods and stuff. Just like you go to Antigua, you might call it fungi and fish with a lot of okra, and then you go to what is the Virgin Gata, and you get fungi and fish with peas and corn in it. But it's the same cornmeal. Then you go to Africa to some places and you call it fufu or fofo. I mean, and it's the same thing because we always descendant from the enslavement period, and then that's what have been dividing us period. Like you was talking about the women and the disrespect. We all disrespect because that's the way you separate us by disrespecting. And the part of having the material things, I had this white a professor. He told me black and Hispanic they gets excited and satisfied with nothing. So you see a sister, brother, you the material thing with this, the money. Oh, I want this man that got money, because in that culture, well, the way from the enslavement, it was like you have to depend on the guys. Look at the way they used to take your black man and put you. You go through the Virgin Islands, you find Buck Island. Where you think that name Buck Island came from? That's where they used to take all of your black, nice looking brothers and put a whole bunch of other females so you could get them pregnant. So the master could have more people on the plantation to be accounted for. And then now it's like we are trying to we doing that what the Buckaroo or Buckaroo, depending on what island you the name for the slave masters and for the ones that used to the main depending on the name that it is, we still carrying on that. And then you talk about, well, the girls want, they want to have this car and they want their nails and they want all of that, because we forget all about what it is to love and care about each other. Look at back in slavery time, you had more couples of black people, or, of our black people than now. And it's like now everybody thinks the solution is finding, like, here in the DR. I mean, the thing is about un blanco, un blanco, un blanco. So no matter how nasty looking the Italian is or old, after he got money, here goes some young girls, and you see it all over. It's like they think that white man is gonna be the solution because he got money, and then you find the black man, once he got money, then he calls you all kind of names because it's so. We just need to look at each other as human being and love and respect each other. It's not a matter, and now, like even over here, they say, el amor entra por la mano. You know, the love comes through your hands or by what he offers to you. And it's not about that. There's no like spiritual connection and respect when it comes down to each other. It's about material things. And I think, and then they be talking like the people that are Christian. Oh, I'm a Christian, that Lord this, that Jesus is supposed to be, we made out of love in his image. And the part about is conversation, dialogue. Just like people be talking about that. Oh, you have a dream with Martin Luther King. It was a nightmare. And if you look at those other paragraph 15 and 16 or something like that, he said, let's sit down and talk about it. We have to have conversation instead of coming up with all of these, oh, so and so got rich and, he's staying this. Oh, come on, people. We could make it different if we go back to what it is about. And it's like now people just get heartless. They just like, it's all about this material things and what you could do. Each one teach one, each one reach one. That's all I got to say for now. Gracias. Oh,
De nada, amiga.
wait a minute. And the other thing with Cocólos, when they came over here, when masters, white folks wanted to colonize the different islands, because they came, and then all of the black, there was people from Tatola, Antigua, St. Kitts, Nevis. Those were like the largest population in San Pedro, in the Dominican Republic, Samana, La Romana. And San Pedro was called the Golden Teacup. But when they came, a lot of people said, oh, they came to cut cane. They were skilled laborers. They came to build. You could come over here now. They're destroying half of those buildings from back in the 1600, and all of that from way back then. Just like in Samana, back when but black Americans, what they call now, from Virginia, back when the emancipation and all of that, they was coming, finding different place to live, and you still find a lot of them in Samana, La Romana, and here in San Pedro. And if you try to tell these people, oh, tú eres Cocolo, that was because they couldn't pronounce it. You're a bunch of black people, Cocolos. Just like they were, instead of saying Tortola, according to, because most of our history, we don't write. So we have passed thing verbal. They call it another name, but I don't remember what it is right now. But we tell a story by talking instead of writing,
Right.
and that's what we need to do. We need to write, and all of this is like, oh well, he's trying to say that I'm not Dominican. Dominican is just a name, just like you say Nike or what is that, Pro Kids or something like that.
Right.
That's not the essence. That's like the Caribbean. We are calypso and soca people, and you still think people, we say, yeah, Jamaica is reggae, but that's not the most of the Caribbean is calypso and soca. That's the essence of us Caribbean people. And you don't hear people saying that, and you don't hear it be playing, and you don't hear people talk about it. And we all got our different lingos and a different, whether you in St. Thomas and you say yo man, or whether you say I hear from St. Croix, or where you say lad, there's different style in the way you speak, and that's because of all of the mixture. Like the Virgin Islands is a seven flags, seven different government with the American. And then you have the Irish planters, all of that. So you got a lot of those same last name, O'Brien, O'Reilly, in St. Kitts or in Antigua and stuff. And that's the way we got mixed. We are beautiful, beautiful mixture of people and culture. All we have to do is learn about each other and respect each other, especially respect. Don't love me, respect me. Respect. You don't have to like me. Respect me. And that's what we have lost, that whole thing here in the Dominican Republic and throughout the Caribbean. We forgetting what the essence of us, the village, taking care of each other and teaching each other and reaching at each other, but most of us respecting and love. And yet we talk about we are Jesus people. If he was love, we was made in his image, and he died for us in the cross. Then what's the problem? Just have faith and do the right thing. Educate yourself and respect. Gracias.
Then it's always nice talking to you. I can't wait to meet you when I go to Dominican Republic.
All righty. I'll be here.
Yeah.
You know, they just for first time they just had the play of the independence, and there was only like a few women, and I happened to play the role of one called Salsitopa, Juana Salsitopa, and she was one of those that remind me of Queen Mary in the Virgin Islands. We always had, or of Harriet Tubman, or of one of those up in the state, because we all during the time we all went through different fights and wars and whatever, one way or the other, not to keep our just like here in the DR. They had Mama Tingo, they had the La Selmana Mirabal, that and it's always been where they've been taking advantage, and the master was always the one to take care. That's how come a white man doesn't phase me, because it's like they used to take it from a black woman. I mean, you didn't have nothing to say. You was there with your wife and stuff, your woman, and
Right.
the man said they want you on. So we have lost them. The black men have lost a lot of respect because of that, and all of that. If you go look back, you look at history, and at the history that is not told. Go to the Congress, the Library of Congress, and you get more accurate. Wikipedia and Google is not going to give you the answer of the real thing. So anyway, may we be blessed with common sense, and may we seek the knowledge that is out there and the positive side, because we are wonderful people. Plus, we all human people. Period. There was white ones, but they've been more wicked because of the money. It's a cuarto, cuarto, cuarto. The material thing. So their wickedness led me before. That's how come they have gone more of ahead. It's all about the money, and we get satisfied with peanuts. So we got to learn how to value ourselves and make ourselves independent. I just found out about that watermelon, man. I used to be scared to eat watermelon when I was in growing up in New York, because of the faces that they used to make black people about the watermelon. And the reason why they brought you down like that was because black people were getting rich with watermelon. Plus, it's good for you. And then white folks got to have to make sure that they make it look bad, because that was making you money. That was making us money. That's why they make that face, and they belittle us like that. Plus, watermelon is healthy. Now I'm eating watermelon with no problem.
Exactly.
So, that was something that if you look at the faces that they used for the watermelon back then, and that was because that was the industry that was making black people money back then. So you had to find a way to cut that in biblical cord off to it's because the bottom line always been because of finance. Period. The money. That's the bottom line. Of every atrocious, everything that always happened, it always happened for the money. So all of that other stuff that we get caught up talking about, I'm proud and I'm Dominican, or I'm proud and I'm this. You're a black man, you're a black woman, you started the world. So just hold on to that and do the right thing. You have to get educated, and the people say, well, the universities, yeah, the university is not, but if you go to the university and they tell you you're going to get an A with blue, you got to say, excuse me, professor, how many blues are there? And go study. If there's 20 blues, look at all 20 blues, and then contrast and compare, and then you make up your mind, because that's why God give you the free will, or Jah, or whoever you call the Almighty. So that's it. Nice to this is the first time I do this thing.
Yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
bienvenida.
yeah.
So to those, I mean, we just need to, yeah,
Hey,
to respect and care about each other, and then focus on the positive. If we're
so
supposed to be God children, focus on the positive and do the right thing. And it's not about you as a person, it's about we and us. It's always been a village, a collective. But now we even hate people in our own family. And when it comes down to a man, like you say, you married, you have your wife. Some of them, some people do that, and other people like to play around. But I think there should always be the conversation. So if you married and you see somebody that you like, tell your wife, "Yo, I like that babe. It's not gonna be forever. I just want to think for a minute." They say, "Try to think."
What? Damn. Okay.
You'd be surprised. You know, you like the pole, the stuff. Don't say, "Well, I'm going out there to go pay somebody for the pole." Tell your wife, "Yo, baby, why don't we do a poll?" Then if you do it and she falls and she say no more, then you do something else. But you know, that's one of the things. It's always about respect and conversation. Because you never know. Y'all got balls, but they're not crystal, you know.
Hey.
Well, in that case,
You
I'm
have
about to start wrapping up and everything. Anybody has any final words to say about anything?
Um. Yo, I want to visit the DR one day.
Yeah, it will humbly accept you, man.
Yo, brother, come because they got all the white folks coming here buying stuff. And then y'all just come over here to get some sex and stuff because it's like we hotter than hot. And that's, that was the way they had to reproduce the plantation. And it's like we stayed with this partying and this, you have to get it, you have to get it. Come over here and start investing and stuff. If other folks from all over Italian, they could come over here. It's a beautiful country. And it's like, just like come and invest and stuff instead of coming and investing in semen and rum and having fun like that. Come on over here and invest. I'm over here. I want to live here. They took me out of here to White Plains, New York, plain white. My mother was the maid for one of the Kennedys, the Floridian stuff. I want to live here. Let me be an island puppy show, but then everything that they say is cuarto, cuarto, cuarto. And it's like you have to be somebody's sweet thing and stuff. And I don't want to cause no more diabetes. We be talking about sweet thing and stuff like that. We need to just focus on doing things right, invest in your money, buying. I tell people to come and stuff, and they want to go. Oh, look at all these mommies! Oh, wow, all these puppies! Come on, keep that thing in your pocket. You don't have to be spreading it around like that. This is not plantation time.
I
You
think
know?
them fools that go over there and do that, that's more so of the
Honey,
people that
don't
have a
call them
self-esteem
fools.
issue.
That's the way we have been whined from plantation time. It's not a matter of them fool. It's that they do it. It's like you got the beautiful woman. You always have to be gyrating. It's like that's like a must, and it's
Yes,
not.
plantation
You know,
times.
it's like that was plantation time when you had to be wiggling all over the place. You don't have to do that. You could have fun with friends and investment and doing things without having to be jumping up and down like that. Go dance and stuff. You could get those feelings from dancing a good soca, good calypso, and looking at the star. I know that doesn't sound too exciting, but hey, why don't you try it? Anyway, yeah, whoever wants to come, let me know, man. I'm looking for brothers and sisters and everybody to come and invest. You could come and
Exactly.
Hey,
invest.
we love y'all over this way. If I get the money, I'll do something.
Yeah,
Yep.
you don't have to like if you get the money, go fundraise, start an organization for nonprofit. Nonprofit is profit. Look at Sherry Winston or something like that. No, not the player. But I mean, there's always we could never do it. Sesame Street, all of those are nonprofit organizations. Look for nonprofit. Come to Negro Land. Any island that's a third world, you could come and do things. You know, so
And as I always tell people, let's
it's
invest in farming.
just invest. Do a nonprofit. We care about our Negro uneducated and come and say you're gonna teach. That's the way white folks they be doing with some of the giving
Yeah, with them
program and stuff.
Ukrainians.
Yeah, no, the churches, Jesus is a business,
Yeah.
you know, and we some Jesus people. We the biggest producers for Jesus.
That's yes, we are. We more we more Christian than the people that taught us.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to wrap up and everything like that. So it was great having you, Elizabeth, and it was great having you, Johnny Appleseed. I'm about to
Right,
have another stream tomorrow, so y'all welcome to come through again.
right on for sure. Un saludo a mi gente de la República Dominicana.
Yeah. So about to wrap up. And this has been a good stream, so about to wrap up. Thanks for everybody that had came. So, and to all my Dominicans, happy Independence Day, or feliz Dia de la Independencia Dominicana. So with that said, I'm out.